Wondering what a high fiber diet is? Find out on this next episode of Digest This.
Welcome to Digest This, the show that helps you revolutionize your digestive health. Here are your hosts, Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato.
Hello and welcome to Digest This. I'm Dr. Liz Cruz and I've got Tina Nunziato sitting right here by my side. So, welcome. If you're a first-time listener, we love that you've decided to join us. We've got hundreds of podcasts sitting out there in our library. Please check them out. If you're a regular listener, we love you. We love that you continue to be on this journey with us. So thank you so much for taking the time. We know that everybody's so busy, crazy busy schedules. And yet the fact that you take the time to listen or watch us, if you're watching us, means a lot to us. And we are truly, truly grateful. So thank you. So I get asked a lot, I get asked quite a bit actually, about a high fiber diet.
It's one of your check boxes on your papers.
It is, exactly. If you've had a colonoscopy with me, you have probably received a letter from me at some point, and I usually will mark high fiber diet. And but usually like in the recovery room, if I find something like diverticulosis, which are these little pockets, little pouches in the wall of the colon, I will tell patients, you need to eat a high fiber diet. You need to be on high fiber. And a lot of patients know what that is. A lot of patients don't know and ask me about it. And, so we thought we'd chat a little bit about high fiber diet. Yeah. Definitely very important. Definitely very important. And, very simple, really, when you think about it, because you can get a lot of great fiber just by what you eat in your diet with incorporating vegetables. Incorporating a lot of vegetables. Why are you laughing?
Because when most people think of fiber, high fiber diet, they think of taking Metamucil every day.
Ah, yes.
Because that's fiber, right?
Yes.
Or Benefiber or whatever, but that's not having a high fiber diet.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Metamucil is that through the years, it has, they've changed it to the point where they're putting in flavorings, which are basically chemicals, dyes, which are chemicals. And so, there is some fiber in that, but my concern is that there are a lot of chemicals.
Yeah.
There are a lot of chemicals in there.
If you take something like Metamucil and you're not drinking enough water, it's like literally putting hay in your colon.
It's going to make you more it's going to make you constipated. Exactly. If you're already constipated, it's going to make you very constipated. Yeah. And that's one thing I always tell patients, high fiber, you definitely want to make sure you're drinking plenty of water, okay? Plenty of water. So let's, vegetables, green vegetables.
Fresh vegetables.
Let's
green
vegetables.
Because a lot of people too are eating a lot of frozen and canned vegetables, which can be very nutritionally depleted, but also very soggy.
Right.
In the end, right? And you kind of you have to think of high fiber as being like the broom of the colon.
Exactly.
Right. I know you've described that to people before, which I really like. So leafy greens are really great, whether that's eating salads, so eating leafy greens in raw form, like salads, or eating your leafy greens steamed, so cooked. That's like one of the best ways to getting fiber in your diet is your leafy greens.
Right.
Those tend to be the best sweepers.
That's right. That's exactly right. Fruit also. You get so one thing that I learned in my training, and it was this one attending that I had, one of the attendings, they were our supervising physicians, and he loved to talk about berries and nuts and fiber. That was probably one of his favorite things to talk about with a patient in the office whenever they would come in. And I always remember him telling women, look, you need 25, you need 25 to 35 grams of fat, of fiber per day. That's like the equivalent of 13 apples a day. Okay, it's a lot of apples, right? But it's just to give you an idea. It's just to give you an idea of how much fiber we need. We do need a lot of fiber. And, and if you are going to eat an apple, which apples are a great source of fiber, you definitely want to eat it with the peel. Wash it. Okay, you always want to wash your vegetables and fruit, but you want to eat it with the peel, because there's not only fiber within the fruit itself, but there's also great fiber in the peel.
Right.
Okay. So you want to definitely do that. But yes, vegetables, fruit, grains, okay? Grains, there are, like a high grain cereal, all right? High grain bread.
Well, and we talk specifically about Ezekiel bread, just because it's a living grain sprouted bread.
Yes.
Most breads are very nutritionally depleted. They're made with a lot of chemicals, a lot of sugar,
White flour,
white flours,
right,
which again tend to cake in the colon. So Ezekiel is a living grain sprouted bread, and the number one ingredient in it is cracked wheat. But even patients with celiac or have any issues with gluten or wheat tend to do really great with Ezekiel bread, mainly because it's not processed wheat. And the thing I tell patients all the time is that, wheat has been around for centuries.
Right.
And we've only just in the last couple decades started having all these issues with wheat. And it's primarily not wheat that's the problem. It's the processing of the wheat that's the problem. So getting away from processed wheat products and doing more whole grain, cracked wheat, unprocessed wheat, people tend to do very, very well with it. So Ezekiel bread is probably one of the better breads I would tell people about.
Great. Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. Is there a problem like if somebody has issues with carbohydrates, like diabetics and things like that, as far as the Ezekiel bread, are you aware of?
No, not that I'm aware of. Okay. It's still low glycemic index
Okay,
food.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Beans. Beans are a great source of fiber, lentils.
And plant-based protein. They're great sources of plant-based protein, but also fiber. It's like one of those superfoods, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So Tina, what about green peas?
So green peas are actually not a vegetable. They're a starch. I get that a lot when I ask people what vegetables they're eating. A lot of it is peas, corn, and carrots, which all of those things primarily come in cans or frozen. So it's like the go-to for a lot of people for their veggies. And I try to tell them that, first of all, you've got to eat green. Green food is what builds the body. It's what builds the blood. And peas don't count. Peas are a starch. They're not a vegetable. So we have to start looking at more veggies. So aside from the green leafies, which are things like bok choy, Swiss chard, collard greens, kale, turnip greens, mustard greens, arugula, but all the salads. So like you've got all different salads. I'm thinking of the leafy greens that you might steam or bake. You've got other green vegetables like broccoli and green beans and Brussels sprouts and peppers and zucchini, and I'm trying to think, okra. And I mean, you just go to the vegetable section and the fresh section of vegetables, and you just look around and you see green all around you. Cucumbers are another great source of green. So eating green and eating it fresh is really important, and acts as really great fiber.
Right. For the body. Very good. I know every once in a while somebody will question me about why we tell them to have a low fiber diet right before a colonoscopy. And even though fiber acts as a broom to sweep things out of the colon, keep things moving, assuming that you're drinking plenty of water, it's also harder to clean out of the colon when you're prepping for a colonoscopy. So even though we typically would tell you, yes, we want you on a high fiber diet, and that's what we typically are pushing for, when it comes to prepping for your colonoscopy, definitely low fiber diet.
You want to think of mushy foods.
Exactly. Try to avoid any of the fruit with lots of seeds, strawberries, kiwis, because very often I will find puddles of seeds in the colon. I will find big clumps of corn kernels. All right. I will find kernels from popcorn.
Cool.
Yeah. Kernels from the popcorn. And the little flaky things that come off the kernels, the popcorn kernels, those very easily clog up the camera, and it just makes it hard to get a good look in the colon. So if you are one of my patients and we've ever told you, okay, low fiber diet the week before, and you're like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't sound right coming from a gastroenterologist. Yes, just before the colonoscopy. Okay, a few days before, maybe a week before. But then after the colonoscopy, then back on that high fiber diet.
That's right. Exactly. Keep that colon moving.
That's right. So if you would like to connect with us, I would like to invite you to check out our website, drlizcruz.com. On our homepage, there is a magenta colored button towards the middle that you can click and schedule a free 30-minute wellness consult. And yes, it is free. And guess what? It doesn't matter where you are. You can do it from anywhere in the world because it's done over the phone. Okay, and that's our gift to you. If you have not subscribed to this podcast, please subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes. And lastly, if you have not rated us, please give us a 5. Please rate us and give us a 5 because it'll help other people just like you to find us easier. All right? All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you on the next podcast.
Thank you for joining Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato. To learn more about their revolutionary products and services, go online to www.drlizcruz.com.